Hello amazing subscribers and viewers, welcome to my channel. My name is Vetri Otto, and on this channel I share videos on food and business. I also share videos on NAFDAC registration. Kindly subscribe, hit the notification button so that when I post new videos you will be informed. In today's video I will be sharing with you the cost of NAFDAC registration. I've had a lot of inquiries from people, even those outside the country, especially from India, about the cost of registering with NAFDAC in Nigeria. So in fact, most of the inquiries I get, maybe 80% of the inquiries I get is how much does NAFDAC registration cost? So I'm here to break down the cost of NAFDAC registration. So someone reached out to me recently and she said she was asked to pay 450,000 naira. Please don't pay anybody money to register for you, okay? You can do these things on your own. I have created 13 videos. This video is the 14th video I'm creating on NAFDAC registration. You'll be able to register your products with NAFDAC. If at all you want to pay anyone to register or pay anyone for anything, it should be documentation, which is also a service I render, basically helping you to prepare the documents, but you have to be involved in the process, and which shouldn't cost so much, okay? And you could pay for a consultancy service, but make sure that you're involved in the process. You're not paying a consultant and going to sleep. No, make sure you're involved in the process. For my own clients, I make sure that they are involved in the process. Don't just pay money to someone and go and sleep. You can pay for people to help you arrange your documents and then send you the documents, but make sure you're the one that is doing this registration yourself. It's not difficult. If the money, resources and everything is there, then every other thing is easy, okay? So make sure you are doing this registration yourself. I have a review. A client reached out to me yesterday who just concluded their registration with NAFDAC for their water company, okay? And he sent me a review. I'll probably be dropping the review he sent to me here. I made sure that this client was involved in the process. He was the one that did the registration. The only thing I did was preparing the documents for him and then handing them over to him, okay? And I also make sure that for every point he gets to, he asks me a question, I tell him what to do. So basically what I'm saying is be involved in your process. Don't go and pay somebody 450,000. And if you don't know what to do with your 450,000, please send it to me, okay? I have plenty of equipment to buy. I have plenty things to do with it. So please be involved in your process. You appreciate it when you're involved in the process. And with my videos, you can just practically close your eyes and walk through the NAFDAC registration, so long as you have the money and the resources, okay? Now, going into the cost of registering your products with NAFDAC. The product I registered was Chin-Chin, and I'm currently working on registering my cake product, okay? So the cost of registering in Nigeria varies. That's if you're a Nigerian-based business owner, it varies, okay, based on one, the product that you are registering. For someone that is registering maybe food products, the cost might be different from someone that is registering cosmetics or any drugs and all that. So it depends on the product you are registering. Two, it also depends on your location. For instance, part of the bulk cost you'll be spending is on renting a production space or building a production space. So if you're in a place like Aba, the cost of rent most likely will be cheaper than if you're in a place like Abuja, maybe Lagos and all those places. Another thing that will decide the cost you'd probably, the money you're going to spend or the cost of your registration is your preparation process and your registration process. So there are some people that they don't need so much equipment to prepare, you know, ahead of their NAFDAC registration. Some people don't even need any equipment. Then also the preparation process. What are the things you need to put in place before you register your products with NAFDAC? So these are some things that also affect the cost. Another thing that might also affect your cost is the NAFDAC office in your location, right? The NAFDAC office that is in your location. So if you're in a location where the people, maybe the people there are trying to probably exploit, you know the way it is, exploited, okay, they'll tell you to pay for things that are even, you know, not within the registration stuff. You understand what I mean? Okay, mentioning some of the basic things you need or the basic things you'll be spending money on during your NAFDAC registration. Number one cost to consider during your NAFDAC registration is the cost of documentation. If I tell you to keep at least ₦1,000,000 and above, that might discourage you. Okay, so that's why I try to break it down into bits, okay, so that gradually or bit by bit you walk through the process of the NAFDAC registration. So I'll break down the different aspects of the cost so that you're not scared. Some people tell me, it entails a lot, but if you'd want to sell in bigger stores like ShopRite, Spar and all that, when I reached out to them to register, the number one requirement is that you have to register with NAFDAC. And if you're also thinking about building a global brand, okay, a brand where you can export your products outside Nigeria, then you should think of registering with NAFDAC here in Nigeria. That's a basic requirement. So plan towards it. And the first thing I always advise people is to start with documentation. So the first cost to consider is your cost of documentation. Now, I have done videos. I did a detailed video on all the documents you need for your registration process, and my own documents when I submitted were probably up to 50 pages or I think 60 something pages, but my SOPs alone were about 31 pages, then adding up every other cost. Then also these documents, I've packaged them as a template. The link is in the description box below, so just go through it, you'll see. So budget about maybe 50 to 60 pages of documents, especially because the SOPs is where it's what actually takes up the volume. Okay, so now think of the cost of printing. I don't know, maybe about 100 naira a copy right now. So for every document you submit to NAFDAC, you have to submit 2 sets of documents. So think of the cost of also photocopying these sets of documents. So it depends on maybe the location, what they will charge and all that. So this is a cost you have to consider. Another cost you have to consider is the cost of reprinting your documents. NAFDAC will make a lot of corrections. Most times they don't even make these corrections at once because they will have series of meetings. And maybe they will keep changing some things. You have to reprint. Like for my packaging label, I had to reprint it severally, maybe up to 4 or 5 times because of some corrections. They'll add this. So think of also the cost of reprinting these documents. So what I usually advise people is get someone to do your documents professionally, or you get my NAFDAC documents templates. The link is in the description box. It will help you to prepare all the documents you need, about 50 pages or even more of documents. It will help you to prepare those documents so that you don't have to make so much mistakes and think of paying so much money to also correct those documents, right? Or you pay a consultant to do it for you. We consider also the cost of registering your business with CAC. So basically, now some people will tell you, if it's just a business name you're registering and you're going through an agent, they might tell you around 20,000 naira or so. But what I registered is a limited liability company, V Classic Foods Limited. So it would cost you maybe around, as at the time of registering the business, like about 3 years back, it will cost you maybe around 50 to 70,000 or upwards if you're using an agent. And if you want to register a limited liability company, that's a company where in the future you'll be able to sell shares, right? Okay, company limited by shares, so you can make more inquiries on that. Another cost you have to also consider is the cost of your trademark registration. Currently, trademark registration, if you even get someone that is nice to do it for you at a cheap rate, it might cost you 60,000-70,000 to do that. So that's why I always say start with your documentation. Another set of costs to consider is the cost of laboratory analysis. You would submit your products to NAFDAC to register to NAFDAC laboratory, okay, for analysis, and you would also do your own product analysis. So now the cost of sending that your finished food, for instance, for chin-chin, I sent the already fried and processed chin-chin. I just sent it to a product lab to do analysis on it, right? So the analysis could cost about 15,000 upwards, depending on the lab, depending on your location. I don't even know what the cost is right now because when I registered for NAFDAC was in 2020. So I don't know the actual cost for that. And you know, cost in Nigeria, prices of things have gone up, so definitely it will go up. So that's another cost you will consider. Then on the part of NAFDAC, sending my product to NAFDAC lab. Of course, you pay your registration fee and all that, but the product itself, I felt in fact, the first set of samples I sent to them, I sent 200 gram pack of chin chin one, 400 gram pack of chin chin another one, then one of my cake product. They told me I was joking. I had to send 8 packs of my 200 gram chin chin, another 8 packs of 400 gram chin chin, and then 10 packs of my cake to them. So imagine the cost. The cost of 200 gram chin chin, that's what I sell it, is 1,000 naira. Then that of 400 gram chin chin, what I sell is 1,800 to 2,000 naira, depending whether it's retail or wholesale. So imagine sending that volume, the big size alone. If you say, let's say 2,000 naira for 8 packs, already 16k. Imagine sending, although this is not like what it cost me, but this is the cost I would have sold this product, right? So, and then imagine the cost of the cake also. So that's another area where you would spend. So now NAFDAC officials, please, if you're watching this, just have mercy on us. That's a lot of product to submit. And let me even shock you. NAFDAC documents, if you're registering is they call them MSME, small and medium scale enterprise. Do you know that NAFDAC certificate expires after 2 years? Mine is expiring soon. I have to start the entire process again when I reach out to them. So cost also varies based on the kind of company you're even registering. For big companies like maybe Coca-Cola, all those big shots, their own NAFDAC registration cost is even more. So this cost I'm giving to you is based on the fact that I registered under small and medium scale enterprise. So that's the cost I'm giving because that's what I have knowledge of. So there's a cost of preparing your product. Another cost to also consider is the cost of paying for NAFDAC registration itself. And when I registered, the cost wasn't much. It wasn't even up to 30k for my 2 products. I don't think it wasn't up to 40k. I can't remember the exact amount. I have to go through my receipts to check. The cost of registration itself is not much, probably not even up to 50k, but the main thing that takes the bulk of the cost is preparing your production space, buying your equipment. Okay, so that's where you have bulk of the expenses to make. The medical certificate or food handlers test certificate, that's another cost to consider because you have to go to the lab, your staff, your production manager, and any of your staff. Like my own time, I had myself, because I was into production, my production manager and another staff, maybe like a kitchen assistant. So 3 of us, we had to go to a lab to run lab tests and just budget at least for the 3 people. Don't budget anything less than 25k because you still pay for the certificate, and they will run different tests. In fact, I was even somehow favored. They didn't run chest x-ray because I heard that one also cost much. They just did like a physical examination. They will run tests, they will run sputum tests, they will run a lot of tests to ensure the person is okay and is safe to handle food, right? The cost of this will depend on the number of staffs that will go in for the lab test and then the hospital involved. So you can use, maybe during my own time, I used the Federal Medical Center, FMC. It's in different locations, so go there and make inquiries. That will also determine how much you'll be spending on that. Then another cost you have to consider is the main cost, which is the cost of the production space. So just keep at least a minimum of 500k because you're going to be renting. I have a video that I created in my NAFDAC playlist. The link will be in the description box. It detailed the different sections of your production space. So basically, it can be a hall that you partition, or it can be an apartment that already has different sections in it. So, and then the production space will have a little section inside carved out for storing production materials. The packaging section will also have a small section or store where you store the packaging materials. Also, during my time, they ask for first aid box. You make that available. Then you have to buy your, in fact, the cost of equipment is even different from the cost of production space. So you have to buy your equipment, you have to buy a lot of things. There are pallets that have to be on the floor. There are requirements for it. Just watch that video. Then you have to, if it's a place that doesn't have the right doors, because you have to construct doors that have nets, and those doors have to swing on its own. So these are different things. In fact, it may cost less, it may even cost more than that 500k I told you. Okay, so that is just being conservative about it. Then you have to keep that aside. I had someone that reached out to me. He said he wanted to open up a bakery and also yogurt and some other three bits, and then water factory in a place that he had over 15 rooms. I'm like, wow, because it's like he's the owner of the space. So for someone like that, he just needs to set up the place, since he already built that place or the production space, so he doesn't have to spend money and all that. All the bulk money he will be spending is reconstructing those rooms to fit NAFDAC specification. So my advice is that they go to the NAFDAC office in charge of their location and make inquiries. If possible, get an official to come and check out their space before renting the space. So it will be frustrating if after spending all this money in a place or location, then the space will not be approved. So watch my video. There are areas that your space should not be close to a cement factory. Your production space shouldn't be close to an abattoir where they butcher meat and all that. So that's why you need to watch that video. Just check out my playlist. So there may be other costs involved, like on the day of the inspection, you go and bring the NAFDAC officials. Probably you spend some money, entertaining them and all that. Then if there's any other cost, it may not really be so much, but these are the basic costs and basic things you'll be spending money on during your registration process. So if you have any questions or inquiries, let me know in the comment section. I could create a video for you. Then remember that the NAFDAC Registration Ebook template is in the link is in the description box. I've created a lot of videos for NAFDAC registration process, and just remember to watch those videos, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you for everyone that reached out to me. Thank you to the people that bought my ebook. Thank you for everyone for your kind words, your inquiries, your questions. They are actually helping me to create even better content and more content for you. For everyone, Vlogtober just ended and I uploaded several videos for 31 days in October. For every single person that watched those videos, thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you for all your support. Until next time, thank you for watching.